What up YouTube, Moose coming at you once again with another unboxing video. Today we're looking at the Moebius Lone Star, so let's get started. Alright, so I had to improvise a little bit today. My normal unboxing space is being used by another project that I'm working on off to the side. But as you can see, still plastic wrapped, so I haven't even dug into the contents of it. But it is from Moebius Models. It is the 1/25th scale all plastic assembly kit of the International Lone Star. Let's flip it up on the side here. So it is kit number 1300. Here they show one of the paint schemes with it. So talk a little bit about it over here. Over 300 detailed kit pieces, fully detailed max force 15 engine, includes a decal chute, paint and glue required for assembly, recommended for ages 15 and up as usual. On the end, another view of the truck. The other side, same thing, and nothing on the bottom. So let me grab my knife real quick. There we go. And tear into it. Oops. My bad, guys. Got a convenient box for plastic here. Alright. So, as you can tell, it's a fairly... Oh, nope. Never mind. I thought it was taped shut. As you can tell, it's a fairly large box for this kit. So, taking the lid off. Lots of plastic right off the bat. Let's see the cab there, some chrome, lots of chrome. But I am going to dig to the bottom first off. We shall set everything else aside for the moment. So the bottom decal sheet, there is a addendum and then the instructions themselves. So let me zoom in a bit. We'll take a look actually. Let's keep going. Alright, so on the front a little bit about the assembly instructions, list of materials you need, some assembly instructions or notes. So digging right in, the first bit looks like there is an overwhelming amount actually. So they basically dive in and just build all of the interior up just that quickly. They kind of break it down, what parts to put together and stuff, and what order they recommend with a bit of text for each step. Their instructions are awfully glossy. I know that's going to hurt the light, but it should help with the readability. So you can see there's a floor panel, then like the bench seat for the back, as well as the back panel, the seats for the passenger and the driver, the dashboard with some of the dashboard cowling, and then like the sides of the cab itself. And go down. They actually do give you a picture of the finished interior with the paint colors for everything, which is kind of cool. And then, oh no, mute my computer. All right. Then from there, they kind of turn to the outside of it, so the actual cab, fitting some of the aero options to that, and then some details here. I can't really, I'm too far to read it, but it looks like grab handles or something like that, as well as the glass. And again, they give you a picture of the cab back panel for reference. And then they also give you a picture here of what the cab looks like once you add like the light strips and stuff along the side. And the windows, windshield. Top view of the cab, or the engine hood with details showing you what paint colors and whatnot, and the bottom view of it. So yeah, I guess the next step on that would be actually building up that front grille. I do have a PE set. I'll probably have to show another quick video or something when I get started on this. But there's a couple PE sets I got to add to this kit, but they're coming from the Czech Republic or something like that, so it's going to be a while. Then they go into building up the drive wheels. Onto the next page, building up the rear wheels on it. It's a multi-piece system. Chrome looks really good. And then we dive down into the frame rails. So lots of detail added along the frame rails. They call out the parts down here. It's a little hard, might be a little hard to see in the camera, but all kinds of cross members and stuff. Again, one of the PE sets addresses the cross members and replaces them with better PE pieces that look more accurate than just chunks of plastic. There are a few things here that are called out and they're orange that make sure you call your attention to make sure you do things right. On the next page, we dive into the steering axle on the front, building the linkages and the hubs up on that, as well as the drop axles on the, or not drop axles, just the drive axles on the rear end of the truck. And again, the text describing how to build up those assemblies. So you got a bunch of parts for the different diffs and transfers and the brakes, and then attaching all that to the frame. From there, we actually build up the engine. So very basic. There's the two engine halves with the oil pan and like the front cover as well as the valve. And then how to paint the engine details and such according to the real one and installing it. Funny enough, they actually have the bare plastic here for the chassis frame, chassis rails. They have the engine painted, so obviously that's from there. The next page goes into bringing a lot of the details together, so I can see like the engine getting fit in, mud flaps for the front and the back side of the drive wheels, fender guards for the front, looks like the fifth wheel, and the exhaust pipe. And miraculously then in the next step, everything's painted. No, so it goes into adding fuel tanks, air tanks, and such as well. And then from there, dive into building up the actual exhaust pipes and their shrouds and the air cleaners and whatnot, and mirrors and stuff that get added to it. And the last step then would be the decal placement. So they show you where all the decals go, as well as the finished model. And then if we fold that back in, they give you a painting suggestions for everything. So they break down what parts, and then they show you what colors it is. The only unfortunate thing is they only include Model Master, testers, Model Master and testers paint lines and metallics and the normals and everything like that. I do not use those anymore. I haven't for a while. I prefer Tamiya, Mr. Color, Mr. Paint, you know, the so on and so forth. But I did find this sheet ahead of time so that I could get the paint colors that I do need. Yeah, here they gotta show a picture of a couple of the different options. And then you've already seen the unboxing, but there's the trailer. So the addendum, my bad, you guys can't see it. The addendum addresses the fuel tank. So apparently people were building them incorrectly, so they released this to tell you the correct way to do so. And let's crack open the decal sheet. So let me cut this bag open real quick. So So here's our decal sheet. Actually looks really, really good. Simulated wood patterns for like the doors, for the cabinets inside the cab, the instrument panel, the simulated wood for the floor, and you know, general markings for international and such for it. The instrument panel is actually going to be replaced with a PE set that's pre-colored and everything like that, so I won't need those decals, but we'll probably do a quick unboxing video of that when those come in the mail. Obviously I'm not going to start on this kit until I have the PE sets, because I'd really like to have all that. Alright, so I guess we'll work our way down in the box. So the first bag actually has 2 sprues in it of chrome pieces, if I can get them out of the bag. Alright, so the first 2 sprues out of the box are the chrome pieces. There's 2 of them in the bag together, but they had like a tissue paper sheet between. So here we can see some steps, nice diamond detail, diamond tread detail, the exhaust pipes, more diamond plating, like a storage box, the bumper, sun guard, the mirrors, as well as the headlights. So no detail on the back side. I'll give you a close-up of those. Very nicely done, that's for sure. I'm actually impressed with the chrome on these, which hopefully means I won't have to strip them and redo it, because they look pretty darn good. So here's the other sprue in that box. So here we can see like the side skirts, the actual front grille, the fuel tank, some mud flap detail, the air cleaners, there's the match pair there. I'm assuming that's more of the side skirt, it looks like it fits right there. More mud flaps, and so on. So let me give you a close-up on these as well. Again, very nice detail. Give me a fingerprint magnet, that's for sure. So there's the air cleaners, mud flaps. That grill looks great. I do believe the PE set that replaces that, so it'll be even thinner. Be hard to replicate that chrome look though with it. Let me get these back in the bag to protect the chrome real quick. There is another bag with chrome in it. It's also got 2 sprues. I'll only show one because they definitely are a matched pair. So again, like the tissue paper, keep them from scratching each other. So this one has got the rims as well as fuel tank. Another fuel tank. And like the air tank. So the way it looks like is that the wheels on this, they have the front part, and then this little thin piece is actually like a backside locker. So rather than fitting the rubber over it, you wedge the rubber into it. Give you a close-up look at the rims. Alright, next we'll take a look at the clear sprue. So there is a lot of lights on this truck. As you can see down along here, there's all kinds of the little amber lenses and stuff like that. The headlights, side windows, the actual windows, and the windshield, and everything looks super clear. Don't really see any distortion in the windshield at all, so that's really good. I'll give you a quick spin around. Like I said, lots of lenses to do. So the next bag, unfortunately, they got a little more stuffed in one bag. So this one's got I don't know how many sprues in it. But here's a matched pair right off the bat, so I'll only show one. So this one's got the air ride suspension bags, some cross members, supports for like the tanks, brake drums. I can't really tell what else. It looks like some frame parts. Yeah, like brackets and stuff for the frame, so I'll give you a close-up of those. Again, the detail looks really nice and crisp. I mean, it's a newer kit, I would expect so. And again, these pieces will be replaced with PE. I'm not sure about those ones though. So, nice bolt detail on those. Flip it over to the other side. So those parts have some underside detail. That's about it. So those were a matched pair. Next one has the floor, wrong direction. Floor of the cab, the like roof liner of the cab. I'm imagining the back wall, and then the seat. So the details all on this side, but I'll give you a close-up so you can actually see on the floor. They simulated like the carpet. I'm assuming it's supposed to be like a carpet. You can see in the upper part where some of the controls and stuff are. I don't know if those marks are supposed to be there or if they'll be even visible at all, but we'll have to take a look at that. And there's the back side of those two parts. There's nothing on that. But if we go to the other side, you can see. And then great texture on the seat. I love the way that it's actually got like the dimples in it. You can really feel the detail. So again, nothing on those back sides of those two. The next sprue has the sidewalls as well as like the cabinets in the back of the truck. So you can see the one there and the other there, as well as like the under bench seating for the back. So I'll bring you guys in closer. Great detail on that door panel, as well as like a panel to be able to control lights and stuff in the back. So there's the other side, same. There's those cabinets. So once the decal's applied, I'll show you the front of that. And then the other one with, it looks like it's like the actual curtain that you would pull across so that people can't see into the sleeper portion of the cab. And the final sprue in that bag is the engine. So here we can see the massive engine block halves, the valve cover, oil pan, the front where the pulleys attach. Not sure what that is. I would assume it has to do with fuel. There's a radiator shroud. I think more of the radiator. Over here we've got like the cooling fan. It looks like the turbo. All the belts for all the accessories and stuff like that. So it looks really good. There we can see like exhaust pipe work. Not sure what that is. This looks like more, obviously more engine parts. So I'll give you a look at all this stuff. Again, the detail looks really good on this model. So my one complaint is always with any car models, and this one's not innocent of this either, is I wish they would mold the transmissions separate from the engine block, because generally they're painted a separate color from that, and there's already enough lumps and bumps and detail and stuff that it's hard to mask and do them separately. So I wish manufacturers would just do that separately. So that was it for that bag. The final bag with sprues in it this time it looks like there's only 3 sprues in the bag. So the first sprue, let me zoom out a bit, has like the aerodynamic stuff for the cab top, the fenders where the headlights fit, the back panel on the outside of the cab where like your air connections and stuff would be, as well as the cab or the hood itself. So we'll give you a closer up look of those. Again, some really good detail on that. I was wondering if that'd be cut out, but obviously not, because you can see there are holes where the grill mounts. So there's the back panel, fenders, and then the aerodynamic parts of the top of the cab. I'm not sure if it's an either or both type thing. I'd have to look again. I believe it's both. I think one of them's the lower and one of them's the upper part, you know, over the sleeper. We'll figure that out when we get there. The next sprue has a bunch of suspension parts. So we can see all kinds of like shocks and cross members. There's the diffs. You can see the big beefy drive shaft there. There's the one that I assume goes between the rear pair of differentials. Yeah, just some general detail for the suspension aspect of it. So I'll give you guys a closer up look at that stuff. And again, stuff like this will be replaced by PE. And the last sprue in the bag, last sprue in the box, has more of the details, so we can see the 2 chassis rails. They're really long, so I'm actually probably going to have to go a different route with my display model, because I was planning on putting it on a shelf that hangs on the wall, and this might be too long between this and the trailer. But we'll figure that out. So you can see like the intake, I'm assuming that's the intake line, like flexible. The dashboard, looks like center console bit down lower. More like the fender stuff. The air ride seats. The steering wheel, fifth wheel, the fifth wheel mount. The air tank. Again, it looks like more of the underneath the dashboard. There's the seats themselves. Exhaust pipe work. So I'll give you a close-up look. We'll start with the seats. Again, the seats have really good detail. Let's flip it over real quick. So there is back pieces to fit to them, which I see one right there. Yeah, so see underneath the dashboard, some of the wiring and stuff like that. Air tank. Look over the rails last. So there's the dashboard, if it'll focus. Maybe you can trick the camera into focusing. There we go. More detail underneath. So I'm sorry the lighting is not the best in this video, of course. Like I said, it's not my normal setup, so my lights aren't as accessible. I got one of them at least. So you can see the air ride So we'll take a look at this frame rail. So there's not much. I mean, there's a lot of mounting holes. You can see some bolt detail and hangers and stuff like that, but everything will get added to that. So that'll make it interesting to fix and get it squared up. So, and the last, no, not quite last. So then next we have, last of the plastic, I guess, is the actual cab itself. So you can see down here where the lenses would fit, and that it actually gets painted a separate color. So kind of unfortunate they didn't just mold this strip along the bottom here in a separate piece. Lots of flash on this, as you can tell, but that'll be a piece of cake to clean. I'm not worried. Tell where the air filters fit, the Lone Star logo. Again, I almost wish the door handles were separate because I'm pretty sure those are chrome. Obviously those got to come out. Good looking piece of plastic though, that's for sure. You have to wash it. There's mold release up there. It's real slick. So note to future self, clean the plastic. So there's the cab on that. And then the last actual bag. Has all the wheels. They look about like the same, yeah, the same ones that were in the trailer, exact same wheels. So the one side is blank, the other side says energy and it has a size. There's a slight seam line, so I'll have to clean that up, but it looks like all of the wheels are exactly the same. So one last thing I just found in the box after I was done is this piece. It looks like it's photo etch or a plastic, but the camera doesn't want to focus. It's like a mesh screen for the front grille, so that's pretty cool. Very easily to see through. I mean, it's got good texture to it. So I hope you guys liked that first look at the Moebius Models, the Lone Star. Really impressive looking kit in the box. I mean, we all know you got to build it to find out how it actually goes together, how it fits and whatnot. So one of my biggest complaints right out of the box that I had addressed and seen online is that the Moebius Models, their instructions suck for this. I mean, there's, as you've seen, there's way too much going on in like the first step and each subsequent one. So Revell actually reboxed this model a couple of years later, and their instructions are up on ScaleMates. And the ScaleMates instructions, or the Revell ones, excuse me, are much clearer and concise as to what needs to go on in each step. It's broken down a little more, so it'll make it a little easier to build. Rather than going and finding a specific blue for this, because I'm sure that International has a blue for this. I mean, I'm sure that, who doesn't? They all do. But I decided to go and dig out the bottle of Zero Paints, my Ford GT liquid blue that I did the Ford GT in, because, I mean, I don't know if you could see it with the lighting, but like I used this much of it to paint that Ford GT. So it's a really cool blue. I thought it did make a good color to complement this. I think it'll make one really cool looking truck. There's a silver color that's supposed to go on as well. Now the one thing that I have debated as well, having looked at it, is even though the chrome looks very nice in this kit, the fact that there are parts that are supposed to also be chrome that aren't chrome in the kit, you know, because they're molded into other things. Do I take the time and repaint all the chrome across the board so it's all consistent, or do I just let those detail bits be different? Again, I wish I had them here already today, but I said there's 2 PE sets available for this model from, I think it's like Czech Truck or something like that. I will link it down below in the description to their website. The 2 sets of PE that I bought. I said one of them addresses specifically this Lone Star, and like I said, the dashboard with some PE and a few other various bits. And the second set is actually for the Lone Star and Moebius's Pro Star, which is another very similar truck to the Lone Star from International. And like I said, it adds better PE for some of the cross members and stuff, so it's more realistic and accurate. The one thing I want to do with this kit that I thought about is I'd like to really take the detail level to the max. I mean, I would consider myself a fairly intermediate builder, but I would like to get stuff so that I can replicate like the airlines and stuff like that. So that's something I've never done before. I'd like to even try some wiring under the hood. I don't know how to go about finding some of that information for like the size of the air hoses. I mean, that I probably could find online because that's pretty standard, but some of the wiring under the hood, the wire gauge use so that I can find appropriate scale stuff, and yeah, try and replicate that. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this unboxing video. As always, if you like, comment, subscribe to this, and I will catch you next time. Moose out.